Hi there guys, Ian here, and today I'm bringing you quite an exciting tutorial. You might be able to guess what it is, either based on the title of the video or what you can see on the screen now. You can see my banner is animated, and this is because YouTube have given us the ability to upload GIFs, which are basically animated image sequences which work without video, and so it's just pretty cool. And so I made this pretty quick banner, and I'm going to kind of show you the steps of how to create this and then to turn it into a GIF and upload it to YouTube. So it's still the same banner layout, so if you don't have a layout, you can actually go to this little pen here and go on to edit channel art, and at the bottom it says how to create channel art. That'll take you to this site here, and near the bottom you can actually download a template, which I have downloaded, and I'll just get up for you quickly. Should be in here somewhere. Well, of course, when I need it I can't find it. It'll come up without the extension, so you actually have to add it yourself, and then as soon as you do that, you can double click and open it up, and I'll just give you an idea of what it looks like. So this is what it looks like, and so with GIFs you can't actually have too much animation going on, because otherwise the file size just skyrockets, and YouTube might update it in the future, but for now you can only really upload up to 2 meg still. And so basically ignore all this TV area, and all you want really is maybe the tablet size, but I'm only going to focus on a small logo in the middle because that limits it down really nicely and easily. So this is what we're going to be creating today, and I'll turn this into a template at some stage as well and give that away. So to get started, let's first of all just grab a new project. So let's just close the project, and I'm going to drag in that channel art template so I know the size that I need, and let's make a new composition out of that. So you can see this is what we get, and this is what we want. It's quite big. It's actually might be 2K, so to get that down to 2 meg is very difficult. And also on my desktop I have a nice little color palette that I have. So we're going to start by just creating a basic mask, which is going to have all of our stuff in it. So we're going to create a new solid, and we're going to make it white, and then we're going to make another solid. I'm pressing Control Y there, and we'll make it black. And then we'll just hide both of them for now, and what we want to do is simply click and drag around this middle section here. And so what that will do is create a nice black and white matte, and what we can do is just select both of those layers, pre-compose, and just call this matte. And we're going to go onto the blending modes. If you don't have that, you can toggle the switches at the bottom, go to mode, and I believe it is silhouette luma. Yep. And so now it only shows what's in the front, and the rest is alphaed out, which is exactly what we want. So now whatever we do, it can no longer go outside of here as long as this matte layer is on the top. So that's quite a nice way. Rather than track matting, you can have a matte which goes from the top to the bottom, so anything underneath this matte will be hidden away. So the next thing we want to do is actually grab my logo, but you can use whatever you want. So I'm going to find that as well. So we'll go through all of my folders and we'll just grab a white one here. It's probably an old one, but that doesn't matter. And I'm just going to drag that in on top of there, and I'm going to scale it up. Not the best thing to do. In fact, I might grab the one from my other project file, which will be on the desktop, just because this will actually have voice break there, my logo as masks. So there we go, and then a nice orange colour. So we can actually delete the background template now, and this is pretty much what we want. We'll make a new solid, which will be this nice kind of bluey grey colour, which will be in my little colour palette. So we'll make new solid, and just grab that colour there and put that below the logo, and that is the background. So the next thing we want to do is we want to grab our logo, pre-compose, move all attributes, and I'll just call this logo. And we're going to grab a ellipse mask, turn on not proportion grid but title safe, and click and drag holding down shift and control until that's all there. So we have a nice circle mask here. And now we're just going to toggle into the mask, pull the mask expansion down until it's nothing there. Then make a keyframe or mask expansion, go forward maybe about 10 frames and make that 0, and we'll just hit F9 and go into the graph editor, and so now we have a nice quick reveal. So that's looking pretty cool. We have our first layer. So the next step is to duplicate the logo, and we'll move that one a couple of frames forward. We also want to trim the composition down to just 1 second. It's going to be a 2-second animation. So we have this here, so we want to move it 2 frames along. And on the bottom layer, we're going to go to Generate and Fill. Go back to our lovely color palette, and we're going to select maybe a nice orange. So that's pretty cool, and we'll duplicate it one more time, and we'll move them both over 2 frames, and we shall make this bottom one this kind of grey colour, maybe a darker one, so it stands out. So that's looking pretty nice. So you can kind of see what I did, just to kind of layer it up. Really simple technique, and if you really want, you can add motion blur to all 3 layers. So this is the basic of the reveal. If you get a little dark splodge at the beginning, you can change the mask expansion down a bit further. So there we go. Now there's nothing. It is important to have nothing at the beginning, otherwise the animation won't flow, like loop round nicely. So this is looking pretty nice. You can play with any of the colours a bit more if you want. Maybe I'll change the middle layer to this kind of darker blue, or maybe even the very dark one. Yeah, that's nice. Then I'll just turn motion blur off just for the speed. And so the next step would be to kind of add some nice little highlights around it, some little explosions. So to do that, I'm just going to go Control Y and make an 100 by 100 square, and I'm going to make this a nice the same color as my logo. And I'm just going to go up to the ellipse tool at the top and double click that, and it'll put a mask around it as a perfect circle. And I'm just going to toggle into the mask sections, and once again I'm just going to solo this so I can see actually what I'm doing. And I'm just going to bring the mask expansion down till there's 0, and I shall make the mask expansion last for maybe 10 frames again, and just put the mask expansion to 0. Then you want to duplicate the mask, go into the keyframes by pressing U, move it forward a couple of frames and change the mask to subtract, and then highlight the 2 last keyframes and add a bit of easing. So that's pretty nice. So that's essentially one of the explosions. So now we can pre-compose, oh, I accidentally locked it, pre-compose it, call it explosion. So now we can move this around wherever we want, so maybe one up here, we can scale it down a bit. We don't want it to happen then, we kind of want it to happen around about here, so just move it along. Maybe, yeah, that's nice, and then maybe up a bit. And then I'm going to add a glow effect. I believe it's on the alpha channels screen, up the radius a tiny bit, so now we actually get a nice kind of white highlight rather than just a glow of the same color. And once again we can duplicate it, move it forward a couple of frames, maybe on the bottom one remove the glow and add the generate fill and change this to maybe the blue. Then we can pre-compose both of these, double explosion maybe, and we can just copy, move along, and where's this one gone? Maybe move that over there. And then maybe one more, which we'll put over here and move it back down. And maybe this one will scale in. Of course, you would take a bit more time to actually get the anchor points in the right place. But I'm just doing it very roughly to give you an idea. So this is the animation so far. So it's looking pretty much exactly the same as my other one, except for a few slight changes. So that's pretty cool. And then the other final thing I had was the kind of burst, and that's another really easy thing. With no layer selected, go to your rectangle tool, turn on title safe again, maybe only have the background visible, and just draw out a nice thin line, which we shall make the same color once again as our logo. And so this is too big, so we'll just go into the rectangle tool and scale it down. And not do anything? No. We just want to move it up a bit so it's up there. No, we don't. We definitely need to scale it down a bit more. So we shall make it something like 50 tall and 3 wide. And now we just need to keyframe all of this. So we want it to start at a width of 0, then go through 4 frames, put it to 3, and then when it gets to 9, let's say, we'll put it back to 0. And as for the position, we want a keyframe there and a keyframe kind of up there somewhere. So it goes forward a bit, and we'll just put that in line with that. And we'll just highlight all of them and press F9. So we get a single line which gets thinner over time. So you can't see it very well, and there's only one of them, so we'll actually go to this Add tab, go to Repeater. In the Repeater, go to Transform, and we want to zero out the position. Then Alt-click on the rotation and type in 360 divided by, and then grab this little pick whip and go to Copies, and then just click off. So basically what this does is it will divide the entire radius of a circle by the amount of copies. So no matter how many copies we put in, as long as we don't go to 0, it will distribute them perfectly. So we're going to add about 10 here, and then we shall duplicate this, move it forward a little bit, rotate the actual layer, and then in the size in the middle we'll put this to 20 and 2, so we have some slightly different sized ones. And again, we can change the colours, but I'll leave that for now. And we'll move both of them over. So this is essentially what we had before. So all we have to do now is, other than the 2 shape layers at the top, just highlight the rest of it, and we don't need a colour palette either, I guess. So the explosions and logo, in fact, do we want? No, we don't. We only want the logos. So highlight all 3 logos, pre-compose, call this animation, and next we want to right click, composition settings, set it to 2 rather than 1, and we just want the matte and background to extend out. Then duplicate by pressing Ctrl D on the animation, drag it forward, and then right click, time and time reverse. So now we have a full looping animation, which if you want it to hold a bit longer at the end, all we have to do is go into the animation, press U, and highlight all the keyframes and just move them back a bit. There we go. So it instantly comes out, but it does, in fact we can shift this all over by 1 frame. That way we have a little pause at the beginning and end. just 2 frames, but that's okay. So this is looking pretty nice. So now it comes to rendering. So Control M to add this to our render queue, or if that's not going to work, we can go up to Composition and Add to Render Queue. Delete the rest of them. So we want to go into our render settings. At the top, go to Use this frame rate and click 12, because too many frames will make it laggy and not very good. The rest of it's okay. Then we just need to change it to H.264 and render it to the desktop if you want, and I'll call this tutorial, and just click render. It'll be pretty quick. There we go. Then into Photoshop, we can just go to our desktop, find tutorial and drag it in. And here you can see the animation is working fine. Then just press Control, Shift, Alt and S, or go up to the top and save for web. Go to GIF, let it load. Then at the bottom where it says looping options, just click forever, and that is you done. So then you just click save and save it wherever you like, and then you will get a GIF which will load up and play fine. So then all you have to do is load it into your channel art, just like you would do any other photo, and that'll load in fine. So this is essentially the tutorial for how to make and how to upload a GIF to YouTube. Hopefully it's been helpful, and yeah, if you have any questions, feel free to add a comment down below. Make sure to leave a like and look for the channel template for this banner here, which will be released in the next few days. So thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you later.